Okay, Mr. Newton?
Here.
Mr. Parati?
Here.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Facto?
Yes. Here.
Mr. Randall?
Yes, here. Alright, roll call, know what we just did, minutes, well, no, we got today. Alright, all board members have been provided with a copy of the minutes of the last meeting. A motion will be entertained to approve and accept the minutes of the regular meeting of July 19th, 2022. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
We'll go with Vern and then Mike.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes.
I believe we got minutes of the public hearing too, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
look
we
at
do.
those two.
Yeah, public hearing. 7:19.
Motion.
Okay, yep, no, I should probably read the frickin' thing again. Excuse my language. All board members have been provided with a copy of the minutes, haven't you seen? The minutes of the last, public hearing. So if we can get a motion to
Motion.
accept those. By Mr. Nguyen. Second by
Second.
Mr. Facto. Roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, addresses.
We do have. Addressing,
We have an address.
Yeah.
yeah, Mr. Cole.
Well, he didn't.
Oh, you're supposed to call ahead?
Yeah, or just
but,
let us
we
know
have
so he's on the
Sue
agenda,
From
but
Friends of the North Country as well.
Yeah, I asked.
super
I told him
guard.
last
Are you
week.
speaking
I didn't know
tonight
the
or are you
procedure.
just here to
I'm just
pick
here
up?
to
That's what I
collect
thought.
paperwork if,
Um,
unless anybody has any questions.
If the, normally, we'll put you on the agenda. If the board has no objections to hearing an address from you and, you kind of keep it limited to the specific points, I'll make the motion that we
We
let her
don't have
speak.
to have a motion, it's just that we didn't,
Okay.
he didn't know.
Alright, is everybody alright with that?
Yes.
You've got the floor.
Right? I'll pass this around if you want to pass that around to the guys. My proposal to the town is to reintroduce the practice of paving the roads for a developer. As he does a preliminary work, binder can be laid in 1 year and the top coat can be laid in the next year to lessen the financial outlay impact. I've made a substantial investment in Schuyler Falls by building an 8,000 square foot truck shop in the Carbide Road, my personal residence on Matthew Drive,
You got more?
a rental house on Mason Street,
Yeah,
4
what you said.
duplexes on Military Turnpike, 6 duplexes on Macy Lane, and 4 duplexes on Matthew Drive. I'm starting phase 2 of the Glode subdivision, which consists of 6 more duplexes, and I also own a building lot in Macy Lane. Normally, I would have to take out a loan to pave the road and allocate a portion of my closing cost to each duplex to repave, repayment of the loan, which kind of makes it hard because there's only so much money to build, you know? And if the town paves the road, more developers might be interested in developing projects in Schuyler Falls and increase the tax base. I estimate the cost to pave the road to be approximately $30,000. Proposal number 2 should be the town of Schuyler Falls be unable to pave the road. I'll pave the road, and I'm asking for 5-year abatement of land taxes on each of the 6 duplexes, which works out basically the same thing, but I put the money in.
Okay. Did you have anything further to add to that?
Not on this subject, no.
Okay. So what I would suggest that we do with this, I appreciate your concern, I appreciate you taking the time out of your night to come here and address the board with a couple proposals like this. What I'd like to do is, the town supervisors bring this back to one of our work sessions.
Sure.
There is a couple laws that were just recently passed by our governor, okay? One of which is a 5-year exemption for any first-time homeowners. So we will be looking at that. That was not gonna help you directly, it'll help you somehow. As far as paving the road, as we did in past practice, that was way before I was here, but I am familiar with that prior, policy of the town. And you had to bring them up to code, compact them, make sure the ditches were to,
Right.
grade, and, at that time, then it was up to the highway superintendent to make sure all that was done, and then we did take care of it. We have adopted a resolution, hence then, that says that all of it has to be completed, like you know, and that the pavement has to be done. And then if it meets the specs of our highway superintendent, and he thinks it's in the best interest of the town to take that road over, then we bring it to the board for final approval. It takes both, the elected highway superintendent and the majority of the board here, 3 out of 5. So I would like to bring this back to a work session so that we could all talk about it, and then we can discuss whether or not we want to revisit that policy or that resolution, the last resolution, and the way it was written. Most of the road specs, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's it. 1 second. I believe most of the road specs on all of it, including compaction and how much pavement and what the
Yeah, I've done the
ditches.
first road.
We pretty much are right in line with the town of Plattsburgh on, you know, I think that's pretty much what we adopted. So what I would do is ask if, I think you guys got Mr. Gould's personal information where we can contact him after. Give us a work session on it, or a couple, and see what the consensus of the board is, and then we can get back to you if that sounds reasonable.
Yeah. So the paving wouldn't be done till next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our CHIPS money has already been allocated this year for what roads we're gonna pave and how much we're gonna pave. So, yeah, definitely it would have to be next year before we could even talk to Mr. Snyder and find out, you know,
Yeah.
what he would be able to fit in if we were to switch the policy.
I'd also like to see Mr. McCormick give us his insight on those before, or during for our next work session. That's okay?
I can give you my insight on that already. Yeah. I don't know of a single town. I know that Schuyler Falls was very slow to require this, but I don't know of a single town that doesn't require the developer to do the paving. It's just not something that towns pay for. Schuyler Falls, I think, took until sometime in the 1990s, I think, to go that route. It would be a big expense to the taxpayers, potentially.
Right.
A $30,000 road doesn't sound too awfully expensive, but that's probably a pretty short piece of road. So
Yeah, the first one was 80,000, I paid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
you know,
that's what I typically see in a
but it's like
typical
both of us
subdivision.
investing in a community, you know?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't start working with people, you're not gonna ever have anybody come in here and do this, you know? You know, you have to give and take both areas, you know?
No, the investment's very important to the town, and future investment's always important to the town. Again, we have to look at what we've already, when we're doing something like this, you know, what they've already turned away and asked, other people probably have asked in the past, different, you know, ways of getting their roads paved. And, especially private roads have always been,
A problem.
a problem.
Like in the city, Kenny Musso, the city of Plattsburgh, paved the development for him on the old airport. You know, and it's like a pilot program, the county does this all the time, you know?
The county does it.
You know, look at all the industrial park buildings, they're all pilot programs, you know? They don't pay tax and they, you know, it's just a deal to help the developer, you know?
Well, with the new laws coming out with the taxes, that's something.
Right, and there was some.
That's part I'm asking Mr. McCormick to take a look at,
Yeah.
make sure that with the laws and everything that are out there now, because of the changes and everything, so.
It's
We wanna do
definitely,
something with you.
this is definitely gonna
We'd
be,
like to work with you.
yeah, absolutely, we
Yeah.
appreciate everything you've done for
Yeah.
the town and all the work and all the building you have done, you know, and I've heard, you know, good things about your building, so that's great. But again, this is gonna be a little bit to work through.
And can I just add my
Yeah.
2 cents in, if it doesn't matter?
No,
We have a few ways that is asked for this in the past, and
Which
have
is
not.
denied.
You can't, because it's a way, and you cannot work on private property if it's a way,
Right.
which
No,
Mr.
that's what I
McCormick would
mentioned.
say.
A couple of minutes ago.
Well, how about the idea of a pilot program for a town? I know the city does get involved in that. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of pilot programs, I've
for a
not been involved,
township?
I've not been involved in one for
I
a
see.
town, yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's give, Mr. McCord some time to look into maybe
Sure.
that for us and
Yeah.
us
And
to
you
do
have
some
4,
research.
at least, ways that you're gonna have to do if you do his. Because we've already, Mike, you right? What is the one up on?
I know of 2 of already,
Up on,
we've already, since I've been.
Ormsby's, Joe Ormsby's place, that they've been after you to do it.
Timber. And then Laura D.
Laura D., Susan Way,
Yeah.
There's been a few.
Woodland Drive.
Woodland Drive.
Yeah, I mean, it just, it compounds
That's a big
quick. I know it doesn't seem possible, but it would. And it could eat up a couple of years' budgets of paving before we even touch the main roads, so.
Well, the second part is, that, you know, it's like I'm paying out the money, and you wouldn't have to put any money in, it's just not getting any taxes. It'd be
Right.
like in a way, if I didn't build, you wouldn't get any taxes anyways.
No, I agree 100% there, and that's something that we could look at, because that kinda, it's not made for
Right,
the builder.
Yeah.
It was more tailored to the first time home buyer.
right,
But that's a pilot program that we may be able to look at, and like you say, it's a end sum game, you know, win at the end, because as long as the
well,
houses
you would have to
are there.
decide too, like a guy like me who's building and renting and doing this, versus a guy who's putting up a house who can absorb this and put it into the cost of the home. It's a little different deal, you know? Like a guy building a house will can add that into the cost of his home and into the lots, where
Yeah.
it's a different deal.
Were you, as far as renting, you mean? As far as
Yeah.
apartments?
Yeah,
Or you're still gonna add it into the cost of whatever your rent is to make sure that it's feasible within reason to rent them?
rents are up so high now, there's
Yeah.
nothing feasible.
Yeah. And then you're also gonna get a depreciation value for, you know, those projects, so.
You can't,
Yeah.
you can't depreciate land and stuff like that.
Not land you couldn't,
No,
but
yeah.
expenses, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's something that we would really, like I say, it's gonna take some time to look at.
Okay.
And, again, I appreciate everything you did in the town, so we'll take a look at it and
Okay.
get back with you as long as, I figured these 2 gentlemen would have your information.
Yeah.
And then we can, let you know where, as we're working through the process, what we find
Sure.
out. Okay.
And also, I talked to these couple different people about doing your senior citizens project on your land. And I have a set of plans that'll work with that, fourplexes. And my son is looking into the FEMA money. Right now, his neighbor does that.
Yeah, and that could be something as a agreement that we could maybe work out on a project as what comes back to the town and what we put up front and what you put up front.
Sure.
So that's another avenue we can look at.
Yeah.
Those
so-
private partnerships with municipalities are big today, so
Okay.
that's something that we would definitely have to get our lawyers involved with and
Yep.
see what we can do there. Maybe that's another avenue.
Sure.
Okay.
That's it for me.
All right. I just want
Thank
to
you.
make sure I didn't cut you off short, but thank you very much.
Yep.
And yeah, I appreciate
Thank you for your
everything you
time.
do for the
Thank
town.
you.
Okay, communications. Yeah, we'll go ahead.
Before we get into communications, we've done this before, we've got a lady that is waiting for us to go through our resolutions. in
Yep.
regards. Can we get those taken care of, so she will be done and out?
She needs copies.
oh,
so
she
I
needs
can't
copy?
give her
Oh,
copies
okay.
right
Yeah.
now.
Alright, We'll wait then.
I think we have to be,
Yep.
can't leave the meeting.
Okay, so,
I'll resend that.
just a couple communications. Mr. Hager, Peter Hager, came in the other day, after I had inquired when the town of Plattsburgh was doing a used tire drop-off for the town of Plattsburgh. It turns out that, that truck was pretty full, so he couldn't really accept everything that we had. So he just stopped in the other day, and he's got enough funding to do one more. He was thinking that third week of September or the first or second week of October. I'm thinking more the first or second week of October, so we can get advertised, get everything out. I think September's gonna be really tight. So if you guys are okay with that, I'll sponsor it for the town of town of Scott Falls. We'll put the truck will come here, and we will need some help though on that day, so I'll need some of the, I know you did that in the past, Mike, where the guys come down. I don't mind coming down and helping anybody else that's available.
Yeah.
So, if you guys are good with that, I'll let him know that we'll move on either the first or second week of October, whatever he can hook up. And that's a free tire drop off. I think there is a limit.
I don't think they take tractor tires,
I know I think there's a limit.
You're supposed to call and register.
They are gonna call,
you.
yep.
Remember to register.
We need a location, to park the tractor trailer, box truck for loading, assistance with loading, like we just talked, maybe 3 to 5 people, community service workers, community volunteer staff, town staff, or residents. The district will pay for costs of trucking and recycling of the tires. Tires will be limited to personal car and pickup truck tires. Must be whole tires and relatively clean and dry. No tractor, loader, or very large truck tires. No rims. We limit the program to private residents only, no commercial entities, so such as tire shops or car dealerships. There would be a limit of 10 tires per person. Load and pre-registration may be required. Alright. They do like you to call in the number ahead so they can start telling people whether or not they can still bring tires. Collections would be scheduled on a Thursday afternoon, typically located at the town garage or the town highway, or the town parking lot here, so. Okay. Registration, charter communications. Got these two. Charter communications, Spectrum, Northeast LLC, just an update. They send me these all the time. On or around September 1st, 2022, TVG2 located on Spectrum Channel 327 will be rebanned to Fin Dual Racing. Got charted. And then NICEC actually sent me a letter saying that they will be working on the electric down on Ladue Street. We own quite a few of the lots left down there after the FEMA buyout and had everything converted to us. So they're just letting us know that they will be working on some of our lots, updating and upgrading some of the electrical. If you guys want a copy of that, you let me know. But basically, it's just a courtesy for letting us know. Monthly reports, can I get a motion to file on monthly reports?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Parati. Seconded by Mr. Newton. Roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Receipts. Town clerk, $435. Macy Lane Water, $126.96. Morrisonville Water, $1,680.36. Woods Mills Water, $542.93. Justice Barber, $2,411. Justice Van Artwick, $885. Cash receipts, $131,271.08. That is the second quarterly host fees from Casella Waste System. $9.30 Orleans County Sheriff refund on codes paperwork filed. So that was a that was
It's probably
oh, that was a
serve-
property
serve.
for a serve. Yep, you're
Serve
right.
process on some
For a
property.
property here on Shingle Street, and they live over there now. So that was a refund back. $260,921.30 state
$922.
Huh?
$922.
Okay, all right, stand corrected. $260,922.30. State of New York. And this is the ARPA funds, the second check that I told you guys would be coming in July. $45 from Division Management, and that's a court division. So if we can get a motion
Motion.
by Mr. Bruno,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Facto. Do roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay, minutes of the planning board dated 7/6/22. Can you get a motion to file
Motion.
by Mr. Parati
Second.
and Mr. Nguyen? Roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. And minutes of the zoning board dated 7/18/22. Also motion to file.
Yes.
Mr. Facto,
Yes. Second.
Mr. Bruno. Roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. That brings us to department reports. Councilman?
Nothing.
I'm good.
Yeah, I have a couple of things. I noticed the 260,000 which we received of funding. And I have one project possibly for this board to consider. And this has been something that's been ongoing for a couple of years now. And it has something to do with property known as Pine Tree Drive. And the reason I'm bringing it up is that the property is owned by the town. Definitely, the town of Schuyler Falls does have a deed to it. We do own it. And I've done a little research into it. I'd like to pass these out for you to look over and
You're talking about
consider.
Laura D. Drive?
Pine
Pine
Tree Drive. Town attorney. Mike, I spoke to Mike a little bit about it. Okay. There, those two.
We got one for Donna, or?
It's okay. I'll get it from Kevin.
Get
No, actually, I do. I do. There. Okay. Would it be okay, Mr. McCormick, if I read this into the record, into the minutes?
I think you can,
Or could I
Do it.
simply
I think
ask
you can do
Donna
it.
if she could put it in?
I think you can do either, yeah.
Would that be okay, Donna, just to insert it, or, I mean, I don't mind reading it,
I can insert it. You send it to me by
Yeah, this should have
word.
been added to the, really should have been added to the agenda. When you bring something like this formally, I mean, you're not updating a project or updating something that you're working on, you're actually, I don't believe it's a real big issue.
Okay,
I
I'll read
don't
it
mind,
then. I'll read it.
entertaining it, that's for sure.
And it's just, the point of bringing it up is there is liability on the town. We have families living there. They pay highway tax over there. And it's a town-owned piece of property.
What is the town-owned piece of property? Is it the roadbed?
The roadbed,
Oh.
the roadway.
And the developer didn't follow through with paving it?
This is dating back for many years. This has been going on, but, I mean, we can't leave this forever the way it is.
It's been in court twice.
Well, it's kind of, you're right,
And
Donna.
I will give you all the paperwork, Mike.
Is that the
Where-
one that people came in 6 or 7 months ago on?
I
Mm,
don't know. what-
no, I don't think so.
It's quite a while ago that it was in
This
front of a judge.
this is your
twice.
road then, right?
Yes, it is.
It is your road,
Well,
so
it's
it
not
is,
my road, it's your road, but it's the one I live on.
you knew where I was going with that.
Yeah.
But that's what it is, yeah, and we
But it's been
You're right.
ongoing, for sure.
we spent like 3 months on this.
Yeah.
You're right, maybe about a year ago.
And
But-
I believe our attorney said that we are kind of exempt from it.
Yeah, next
Did you,
door.
Mr. McCormick?
Yeah.
I have only a vague recollection of it, but it seems to me there were court proceedings that
There were.
said that it was
Yes.
not a town
Back,
road.
back maybe over 20 years ago.
I'm not sure, I can look it
Yeah.
up and send you
Sure.
everything. I think I've sent it to you before, quite a few years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we just did this like a year ago. Or thereabouts.
I
Bring
brought it
this to
forward
the,
before
why don't you
because
bring this to a work session?
Okay. Okay.
That way
I
we're
will.
not,
I will.
you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
And we can take a look at it again. You're requesting that this time that we use ARPA money for that.
And Kevin, after reading over the ARPA rules,
No, I just wanna be clear, that's. what
yes,
we-
I would.
All right.
I would ask that.
So, you wouldn't be
Well,
coming out of the highway budget.
no,
It would
no,
be
it wouldn't
coming
be
out of
at
the
all.
general fund money. from
Not at
ARPA.
all. But on the same token, would it be appropriate to ask Mr. Snyder just to take a look at the road? And I mean, just drive down it and just, it actually appears to be in quite good shape.
I believe Mr. Snyder did when I
Did he?
brought it forward a year ago,
Yeah.
didn't you? Mr.
Yeah.
Snyder?
No, you didn't?
Well, at the time,
So-
if I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but, it was,
There was a lot of talk, but no, I'm not going on there.
right, you said that it wasn't really advantageous to the town to pave that at the time, that was your, and I don't wanna put words in your mouth.
No.
But, that
No,
was
and
the gist of
and
it.
I still won't, not at this time. Yeah, it's,
Then it takes both of us to do. It takes a highway superintendent and us to approve roads in the town. And, I thought that's what your answer was the last time. I know John was the same kind of way when he did it. But rather than sit here and think about what we think it was or what we thought happened, let's bring this to a work session. I will pull that 3-inch folder again and we will go through it and go from there, okay?
Okay.
that make sense to you?
That makes sense, okay, it's fine.
That way we're not
Okay.
guessing, we know exactly what's
Right.
going on.
I just tried to do a little more research, that's all. And as long as if I'm talking about that, and there are several roads where people fall in a category right now. You've got that Woodland Hill Drive with about probably 10 residents up there who don't have any service at all up there. That's a place where I asked about a stop sign. And,
But we can't legally put a stop sign
Right.
on
Yeah.
a private road.
yeah,
But,
We we covered that one too.
yeah, right, we did, but you know, the town
It doesn't hurt
seems to be.
revisit them. I'll
Yes,
agree.
Kevin, I appreciate that, Kevin.
Yep.
But, you know, when the town turns around and issues certificates of occupancy, I can see a little bit of liability on our part there. And here we've got this ARPA funding. What a great place to spend it, to help these people out. Maybe a once in many year opportunity to do it, to put it behind us then. It's over with.
Yeah, the only thing that I would wanna make sure that if we go down that route, that we don't leave any of the projects out, that we go back
Absolutely.
and we look at
Agreed.
everything. And if this board is willing to dump, you know, $200,000 on upgrades of roads, and we can get Mr. Snyder on board with that, because it takes both this board and his, then that's something we can look at, but that's why it should be done at a work session, so we can pull all the resources that we need to look at to make that, see if it's feasible or possible, you know, probable. That makes sense to you,
Makes sense, makes sense.
okay?
I did mention the one-day training. Did you put me down for that?
I have the sheets in here.
Oh,
that I
do you?
do that.
Okay.
Well, we called on this today,
Oh,
and it's in October, the one that you want to go
yes,
to.
sure.
So that's why I mentioned them this month, and we'll do a resolution next month in September on who wants to go to what association's training, and we'll pass a
Oh,
resolution to
okay.
do all that, if that's
Uh,
good with you.
Yeah, well, of course, it's fine.
Yeah. And I got your training down. I knew you wanted to go to that. I remember the work session this time. That one's at Lake Placid, if I remember.
And just two more minor things.
Yep.
This one, and Mr. Dillon is sitting right there, I'll say it right to you.
Sure.
Is that I had communication because I had placed, at your request, Kevin, I had placed the agenda of the meeting up on a website. And you had asked me to do it, and I did do it because we've been having so much trouble with our town website. Kevin asked me if I'd mind putting it up, so all I did was he sent it to me. I just photoed it over to the website. Well, Mr. Dona, apparently, here I am. I did something that you asked me to do. Because it was an official website, we don't know if I should have done that.
No, that's fine. What I did,
So,
it did go on the official website. And I do got that confirmation that it went on there. But at the time, we had been having so much
yeah,
problems with the website and making sure that it got up, that I did say, if you wanna post this agenda to that website, it's not gonna bother me at all. And I said, if you wanna do that, matter of fact, Mr. Dolan and I spoke after the last meeting, and he asked me, or he told me then if anything I needed or wanted to get posted and get the word out, that he was willing to do that on his website.
But this is a private site, and I don't think it meets the requirements for having to post it 24 hours in advance because it's a private site.
Right, so it was posted on our website.
I don't know.
Okay.
Duly noted.
it sounds minor, I'm not that worried about it.
No,
but You
no, I
asked me
do.
to mention it, so I
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. So, we will, we'll not do that again if you got an issue with that. Post that. I just did it because you said that you would be willing to advertise it
As far
on
as
your.
it goes for your stuff in the park and stuff like that, anything that's not required by law, I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
But this does not meet the requirement of the 24-hour notice because it's
No,
on a
it-
private site and it's very limited as to who gets access to it.
Right, I think isn't your site open now, or do you have to,
Oh,
go on it and be a part of it?
Yes, yes, you do.
Okay, no problem. It was on our website and in time,
I rarely go over there.
yeah, but it is. Alright. So, any more from any other councilman? Alright, highway, Mikey, what do you got? Anything?
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to winter, so. I got the salt ordered for, winter salt and sand. And we're still out there, some good weather, we're still out there mowing roadsides wider and wider, and we're, cleaning up around guardrail rails and cutting brush and just keep right at it.
Okay. Did you have anything else?
No?
Okay.
I mean,
So, I got a few things that we gotta do, I'll talk about it later, Mike.
Yeah.
But-
Oh, I'm sorry, I received the text when I got here from a resident and brought up, he wants to know the situation with the playground equipment.
I got that too.
Okay, good, so, thank you.
Alright, no problem. Alright. Water, anything down?
You tell me.
Okay. I'll let you, like I said, if you got anything that, we haven't had, I think we had one break there not too long ago, but other than that, that was it. And they replaced, one shut off, street shut off that was snapped, went down by your house.
Well, then they fixed the hydrant,
Yeah, and they fixed the
it was
hydrant,
leaking.
yeah.
I've got something on the water, being liaison with the water. We have signed up an agreement with Rural Water Preservation of New York
Mhm.
for each water district. I think, what is it, 800 a year? Maybe
Well,
less.
it depends on the size.
Oh, is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
it?
they're all a little
And-
different in number.
I had mentioned before on the River Street situation, I know we did some excavation and the person had hooked up within the last couple of months. And at that particular spot, the water line appeared to be okay at that spot, and it was down to the proper depth. Well, rural water will go on River Street if we want them to, and actually take their technical equipment at no cost to us and basically draw up a map of the depth of that main at different intervals. Now, seeing that we've already invested with them, wouldn't it be a good thing to do that? To let them do that, and then we have information for whenever something would happen with our improvements in the future?
That section that was worked on was the newest section down there,
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
That was installed when they did Ladue Street, or when they did, Ladue, is it Heights? River Street Heights.
yeah, oh, yes,
River
yes.
Street Heights.
Yeah.
So that's the newer part of that line. It wasn't where it was supposed to be, it was underneath the road, inside the curb stop, it wouldn't be bad to map it. Like I said, I can reach out to Rural Water and
Sure.
have him come up, and I know that was our original intention when we did it, because I had talked to Greg Timmons out of Peru, who said they're a wicked resource and they're very good at what
Sure,
they do, so.
sure.
Yeah, I can look into that.
You want me to email you the information, Kevin, or the guys?
If you wanna email the guy you've been speaking with,
Right,
so that he's for mayor, or at least he's got a heads up because he's already talked to you, and I think you said that he had looked at putting a pump in at one time with
he
another line
did.
for
He
circulation.
did come up and spent, you were out of town that
Right,
day.
no,
And
and
he did spend 4 or
a-
5 hours over there on River Street.
Yep.
And then he went down to Macy Lane and actually looked around down there a little bit. So it could be a good resource
Yeah,
to maybe save
I'll
the
just-
people something in that water district.
if you wanna shoot me his information and.
Sure.
What's happening with Mason Lane?
Okay. This one, I won't, if I don't write this down, I won't remember what the hell, I got 15 projects, one. Names. Alright, Macy Lane, I just talked to LaBerge probably middle of last week. And they finally got somebody freed up for surveying. So as soon as they get the surveying all done, then that project's gonna start moving as fast as the Rixon Ave. The Rixon Ave, everything's down at Ryan Davies' office down at the Clinton County Health Department. There were 3 or 4 little things that Mr. Davies wanted addressed, and they're working out those right now between the engineering and what he wanted. I think that project is gonna move pretty quick, to tell you the truth. I don't wanna throw out a month, but it's going pretty quick. Once the surveying is done over at Macy Lane, that one's gonna move probably just as fast. The biggest thing is everybody was tied up already with all the big projects and they couldn't hire anybody to survey it. But that's being done right now. So as soon as that's done, I'll get a mapping. Remember the maps I showed you guys at the work session? I'll get a set of maps like that from Macy Lane, and then we'll almost be ready to start. We'll have to go through Ryan Davies' office again down at Clinton County Health Department to make sure he doesn't want anything changed, so they have to go through review. That's where Rixon Ave is. Basically, once Mr. Davies is done down there, that project's gonna be ready to bid. We're ready to, if Mr. Trombley does it, have him do it, so. That stuff has to be, that'll be another set of paperwork, but that should go fast. Because those residents up there, we have to be informed of what we plan on doing, what we intend to do, what they're gonna be responsible for, the monetary part of what they're gonna have to be responsible for. And I had about a hour and 20-minute conversation with one of them up there, and they want it done as soon as they can, so.
Can I just throw this out on Rixon Avenue? Seeing that we're going down Rixon Avenue and we're crossing over on private property and then we're crossing back over on another parcel of private property, is it permissible from ARPA, from that Relief Act money, should we have to get an okay to use those funds? That's what I mean. Because we're gonna be entailing putting a line in
Right.
on private property.
I'll get all that
Kevin.
for you. I talked to Mr. McCormick months ago about this and what we needed to do to set up that agreement. The line, the main line coming off the road or push under the road
Yeah.
was moved to Rixon Ave.
Yes, yes, I
Because you
understand.
were having didn't like the fact that the main push across the road was coming into Trombley's property. It didn't really matter, it doesn't really change the pressures, so I talked to Ron and he goes, yep, we can switch that. The 2 laterals are gonna be the 2 laterals no matter what. And your connectors on each end are still gonna be connectors so that it's a loop system. So, the only difference will be is Mike, when we do that up there, we'll probably trench cut that road. And, much like they did River Street, do one half and then do the other half. Cause it's gonna be a lot more expensive to push underneath that road. And being that it's our town road, we might as well just open it up, lay the pipe in, and then bury it back up. And then just, I had to stop up by, I asked you, to stop up by Bravo anyway. So that section is going to be all repaved at one time, one way or the other. Whether the other Morrisonville project goes through for the water or not. But that's gonna save a ton of money, trench cutting that and doing it that way rather than pushing it across. So there's a ton of paperwork I'll get to you, but it's not quite there yet. All right, but it's moving fast, and there's multiple wheels in motion. So once I get everything nailed down, I'll get it to you.
As water clerk, when is the letter is gonna go out to the Dixon Avenue people to see if they're willing to do what we were supposed to, their costs?
Right,
So that this
so-
way we know whether we're moving forward with that project.
Right. So they came up with the three documents that they will be sent, okay? And then they went to the attorney, which had a few little language changes in there. And then they went back to LaBerge so that they can make the changes, and then I'm supposed to get them back here to town. Those will have to be sent out, and again, this board will have to decide whether or not, that's still the way we wanna continue with the project. So, as soon as I get the rewrites back from the markups, I will get them to everybody here. It's just that that hasn't happened yet. I mean, the preliminaries are all done.
Well, you made me nervous when you said 1 month that it was gonna start the project. That's
No,
all.
I said I
Didn't
can't,
know
I won't
whether-
name a month, but I said it's coming fast. I'd be hesitant to say what month that would start, but I kinda alluded to, Scott's mom, that it would probably be first thing in the spring or thereabouts. So it's coming quick for a project that size. But I got things I gotta nail down. Anything else on the water? Safety and codes? Town clerk? Assessor, next work session, we'll go over, looking at, I'll speak for him, maybe doing an increase to the monetary amount of, the exemption for 65 or older, persons and persons with, disability. I need some specific information from, Mr. Drollet. He's gonna get that for us, I'll bring it back to the next work session, and I believe by September, we should be able to start working on, that's gonna be by local law, right? Local law to do that, and then we'll pass it in October. If the board likes. Planning board, I got nothing, dog control, I got nothing, attorney?
Nothing right now.
Okay. I will speak for Cliff on that dog. He called me on a dog he had for about 4 or 5 hours. They finally got somebody to take care of that dog, and that's out of his hands finally now. But he said he's been pretty busy with the dog stuff. Nothing at all. All right, supervisor, I'll try to keep mine really quick before I do mine. Historian.
Just real quick, you might have seen some publicity, but Town of Schuyler Falls was the second group in Clinton County itself. Highway Department got a grant from Preserve New York that we had talked about back in April. It's strictly for the hamlet of Schuyler Falls to look at consideration as to whether some of that can be called a National Register Historic District, which then would afford some tax benefits and potential for grants to people in that district in the historic houses. So it's all, we've got money to do that. It'll take until next year to do all the research and keep information up with the homeowners there and all that. So, but we got it. Again, this is building on the historic inventory, cultural resource survey that we got a grant for the whole town back in 2019. So, I'm in. I love something. Just big in the county is it's Battle of Plattsburgh weekend coming up, the weekend after Labor Day. So there will be things that are going on all around the county, starting on Thursday night through Sunday, the 8th through the 11th. I have, if everybody has a nice magnifying glass, a one-page list of the schedule here. There's some copies you're welcome to take a copy of that.
Thank you, Barb.
Yep, welcome.
All right. I got a few bulletins. Okay. In regard to your other question, the parts have now come in, even though we just got an email like a month and a half ago saying that was going to be till October or November. He just emailed me about maybe the middle of last week, and he goes, the parts are now in for the playground equipment. He wanted to know if we wanted all that dropped on site or if we had a place to do that or even drop it on site. I was like, nah, I'd rather not do that because it's all in boxes, it's all brand new, and I asked if he would keep that in his warehouse. So he is going to have, because the tractor trailer was coming at 1 o'clock that day when he called, believe it or not. He goes, where do you want this stuff dropped? I'm like, not here. So anyways, he's going to put it in his warehouse. I asked that PM Leary coordinate with Mr. Campbell so that Sam and him can figure out what park they're gonna be working on that day and what days are best to do that. So he's gonna be coordinating with him. So that stuff has arrived. As soon as he can get open spot on his calendar now, because he wasn't planning on the stuff being in till like October and November. And they couldn't even guarantee that when it was, because they didn't really have a ship date. Now he's gotta try to schedule it. So as soon as I find out, Mr. Facto, when he's scheduling it, I'll let you guys know. Okay? But, yeah, it's like magic. The last Music in the Park night with Neil Gillespie was a big success. We just about sold out of all the food. We made a little over $200 profit that was taken in from the sale of food. Of course, all the profits will be put back into the Music in the Park fund. So it almost paid for him that night. Our next one is coming up. Reminder, this Saturday, the 27th. We'll be hosting a band town meeting. They will be playing folk.
I've got flyers here.
Oh, okay. She's got flyers if anybody wants anything about it. Folk music, Americano, and acoustic rock. So that will be again Saturday the 27th. This Saturday. We are still moving forward with the splash pad. What a debacle. As final documents are now being completed for DASNY to release the $125,000 of funds. Also, ADA is now working with Denzek Design for the final plan of the splash pad size, shape, and site plotting for the location of the pad and the sand filter. So basically, we were waiting 4 to 6 months, and somehow it never left. I know the names, but one desk to the next desk down there. And had I not got a hold of Billy Jones' office to have him see how that was progressing, I wouldn't even known that it hadn't moved. So that's been rectified. It's now sitting on the right desk. I just did a whole bunch of paperwork for that over the last week. Once you and I do our final signatures on DocuSign, then that will go to their lawyer, and from there it will go to the legislation to sign off of. So that hopefully should be coming quickly. NICEC is, I talked to Troy just for a catch up on that. NICEC is working on a final approval to place decorative street lights up at Shane Avenue, Darren Avenue, and the remainder of Joyce Avenue in Hilltop Estates. These lights, I am told, will be bought and installed by NICEC at no cost to the town, as long as no special work is required to install them. Troy will keep me abreast of the project as it moves forward. So he's gonna, their line crews will go up there, their street light crew, will go up there. They'll place out where things look like they should be, and if they feel that they need another transformer or they have to go bore underneath the road from one side to the other, there would be added cost. So we're going to try to keep everything on one side of the road up through there, and hopefully if we have to do a transformer, we have to do a transformer, and that would be an upcharge. They wouldn't pay for that. But they will go with the decorative lighting up there, and that was a sticking point for the people that lived up there. That's all underground service, and there was already decorative lighting. So when I found out that they'll now put decorative up there, I jumped on it. I'll let you know how that goes. We are still on the short list for congressional funding and have been added to the federal budget. We are waiting to make sure it is not cut out before the final adoption, as it has been explained to me. The 2023 WIA grant and federal infrastructure grant monies will have both also been applied for at the end of this month. So I wanted to give you guys an update on that email. This will be the congressional funding. Sorry. This one's for the big news. So as you can see, we're still on the short list of funding at the federal level. That one's $2,562,500. So we'll see how that goes, and I just wanted to give you an update on that. It's not ours until they give me the documentation saying it's ours, but we're moving through the progress. We're moving through the process. There's Mikey's, I knew I had one for him. I'll trade back with you. Everybody should have one there.
Again, you went already.
Okay.
This is for which project, Kevin?
That's the Morsel Water Project.
$38 million.
Yeah, it's 6 million something, but with the contingency funding, we put it for 8.1. But the project's 6 million some odd thousand. We actually put in almost a 27% overrun on the project, which gives us a little over 5.5 million of contingency money for overruns.
So would anything be deducted if we got this one? Is this the one? Yeah.
There's that one there. I'm working with Jonathan Carmen from Elise Stefanik's office, and they're earmarked funds. So they used to be earmarked funds, did not count against any grants, but now the feds out of that office don't want to deal with the money. So usually they funnel the earmarked funds through one of the other, USDARD or CDBG or one of those that usually handle them all. So what he's trying to find out right now, and he's working towards, is to make sure that these funds don't deduct from the 1.3 that USDARD have. The other update that we'll talk about in a minute, we got maybe some help there too, but we'll see how things go. So the process, like I said, is playing out. Let's see where it goes. As I get solidified numbers, I will definitely let everybody know. Okay, but right now, it's still looking like we're in play. All right, it is. We are in play for that congressional. That's only one. We're also, like I said, put in for the WIA grant again. That got refunded this year. It went from 5 million up to 11 million. 60% funded. I can't tell you whether we'll get it or not naturally. And we still have the Biden bill, which is the infrastructure bill, and New York State got a pretty healthy chunk of money out of that federal infrastructure bill, and we're applying for those two right now, the WIA and the infrastructure. So we'll see how that goes. But I got tons of paperwork I'm doing in the meantime to keep that project active. We're still working, which brings me to this one. We're still working with County and Casella for an agreement to bring a water line to the residents with contaminated wells on the Sand Road. All homes along the route will be able to tap into this new water main. I have a meeting Thursday morning with Mike Zerlo and a few others at the Great Big Round Table down there, and we will have a draft agreement that they will hand me. I did see a preliminary draft agreement that they gave me yesterday. I forwarded that to Bill Ryan and to RJ to look at to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I can tell you already that Mr. Ryan already did a couple markups on that first draft. And I'm sure we'll go back and forth a couple more times before we get it solidified. But I'll get you councilmen up to speed on the next work session and show you where we're at with that. But that's moving forward, and that will help not only those people but everybody on that road. It looks like we're going to be between picking up maybe 60 to 70 homes with water on Sand Road altogether. That's what they're looking at. So, including the park up there, the trailer park. If it wasn't for that trailer park on Sand Road, I will tell you, they wouldn't even be able to apply for this grant because they're going after the WIA grant too. That, because there was more than 5 homes in that park, made that a municipal water system on its own. So that made it eligible for the PFOA, PFOS determination of where. So that actually helped everybody in that area. And that's what I was talking about, Mike. We will be finishing up the crosswalks at Maple Street, Maple Street and Emery, and Church Street and Emery within the next week or so. All the crosswalks planned for this year have been installed. We still have to paint, share the road signs on River Street and on Sand Road. We plan to finish them up by hopefully fall this year. So we got the stencil. I got a paint spray or two. We can try doing that, or we can use drags. I don't care what one we use. Those we're definitely gonna have to spray on, and we'll be there forever. Those other two, like I was saying right here on Maple and Church Street, that'll finish up this whole thing. Next year, I'll work on the state to get an agreement like I did down here at the 3 intersections was 22B, to get work an easement to work and see what they'll do up in Schuyler Falls to get those done. And then we can look at Woods Mills at the same time. There won't be as many as down here in the village. But we'll try to get those squared away next year. And in the meantime, we'll get those share the road signs out with the bicycle and the chevrons. So I'll get with you to do that again.
One thing I noticed is the stop line at the end of Emery and 22B is right in the middle of the crosswalk now, so you have to come back, put a new stop line down.
Actually, that happened at Maple Street too, the end of Maple Street.
Yeah.
So we'll move the crosswalk bar, or the stop bars. You will. We can move that. We can use that other stencil, I believe, for that one. That's the one that originally sent for the crosswalk. So we'll rectify that. But yeah, we were like, we lined those up. We were like, sidewalk to sidewalk. That's where it's got to be. So. But Mom said never play in the road. I played in the road for 10 hours with those guys that day.
Try 39 years.
Yeah, I know. But I appreciate it. It looks good. And I've got quite a few good comments on it. Okay, so just so everybody's aware, I think everybody is, looks like the big Association of Talent Training is New York City, Marriott, February 19th through the 22nd of 2023. The rates are here, stay rates and the rates to attend the classes and what the classes are. So, or the classes look like they're online. Excuse me. So what I would do is ask everybody to make sure by September you come back with whether or not you are going to attend this one, or as far as I know, unless I jump in with Reggie on this one, there's a planning and zoning school registration for Lake Placid in October. So that one's Thursday, October 6th of 22. And I would like to have all the names of who's going and what they think they're going to. So in September meeting, we can do a resolution to pay for the bills on it. Okay? We do have it in the budget. All right.
Is it being opened again to planning board and zoning board members?
Yeah, the planning
As
board
in the
and
past?
the zoning board each got a copy of this way back on 750.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, so any town employee within their respective color of duty. Alright, I think that was it for my stuff. Unfinished business. New business. I bring us a resolution. Let me hand these out because we're gonna get to this resolution pretty quick. And that way you got it ahead of time. So I took the liberty today of making copies of the recent changes on the contract for the highway and the old although it says 2023 on here, these are the changes from the old contract. This is a version of the new contract with the changes in it, and this was the last negotiated meeting that Mike and Mr. Crowdy, I should say, Mr. Newton worked on, and thank you very much for what you did with that, because I know that's a bear to do. So here we go. I'll give you them. That way you have them when we look at it.
Sorry.
Burn. Reggie. Mr. McCormick, that's all of everything. And I apologize when I sent that to you the first time, I didn't send you the first contract, cause you were like, oh, it's hard to compare, I don't got nothing to compare it to.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that has it all in there. I apologize, that was my bad. Mr. Snyder, hand that to him. You wanna give this to David Amell too?
Mm-hmm.
Up at the garage, he's a steward, and that one I'll keep for mine. There, I think I'm gonna take care of everything. Alright, first resolution. Resolution 2266, motion by, whereas the town board of the town of Schuyler Falls is anticipating that the budget for the fiscal year 2023 will require a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by General Municipal Law 3C, and whereas a local law is required pursuant to subdivision 5 of General Municipal Law 3C to authorize the town board to override the tax levy limit by the adoption of a local law approved by vote of 60% of the town board, so be it therefore resolved that the local law number 2 for the year 2022 entitled a local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law 3C is duly introduced, and be it therefore resolved that a public hearing on said proposed local law number 2 will be held at the town hall on Tuesday, September 27th at 5:45 p.m., where the public will be allowed the opportunity to voice comments for or against said law. So again, that we need to have a public hearing on that, and then if the board likes, we would adopt local law 2 of 2022. Again, even though this thing reads that we are going over the anticipated tax levy, the only reason we're going to do that is to move money, quite a bit of money, out of the, it will allow us to move it out of the unallocated general fund and utilize it for capital improvement projects. Because if we don't put it in the budget, I can't do it. And the comptroller's office isn't gonna like it if I, a month and a half, 2 months into the year, say all of a sudden I'm gonna move $1.5 million into 2023's budget after we gave them a thing saying we stayed under the tax cap. So it's easier to just do it this way. Right?
I'll make a motion.
Alright, Mr. Newton, second. Mr. Bruno, discussion?
Yeah, what I'm wondering, I'm a little confused on
Okay.
it. And my confusion is, we haven't yet had a budget meeting of any kind.
Yep.
And is there, no, I assume it's 3%, isn't it?
2.
It's 2%. So,
Sometimes it's 1.6 and sometimes it's 1.1 or whatever they come up with. They call it a 2% tax cap.
is there a time frame in
Now.
doing this?
We have to have it before the budget is approved.
Or we can't
Every
do it.
year.
I already did it last year.
We didn't do it last year. Every year, this should be done, because if for some reason your expenses go over 2%, then you need to have this done in the state, New York State Controller's Office by October, so that you could pass your budget in November.
So when Rick Potiker was supervisor, he used to do this every year just in case. They gave him the board the luxury of going over 2%.
And most boards do that.
And most boards do. I haven't did it in the 2 years that I've been down here because there was no need to. But I've been telling everybody for the last 3 or 4 months that this would be the year that I would do it, so that I could spend some of the money out of the unallocated cap reserve, which we then put into our budget. So then we can do capital improvement projects, like we talked about doing, like you might wanna do maybe 100,000 more paving for the highway department. We gave him $50,000 extra last year in his paving, and it took 4 days to straighten out our budget to stay underneath the 2% tax cap. Unlike a school district where they can do a capital improvement project and it doesn't affect their 2% tax cap, our whole budget is inclusive of a 2% tax cap based on 3 different criteria. And without going into a lot of explanation on it, it took us 4 days to make sure our budget was going to be all right. And that's when I had to reduce the general fund tax down to, I forget what we moved it down to, 34 cents from 40-something cents to equalize the budget to stay under the tax cap. Because I didn't realize, and I'm learning every year, I didn't realize that if the money was already in our account and we transferred it over, it still goes against the 2% tax cap because it's in your overall budget. If the schools are done, so us are done. So this will allow us to start using some of that $2 million plus that are in the unallocated fund reserve, so that we can start doing capital improvement projects, so like you said. We could even use it on, the garage floor. If we come up with when we rebid it again around March of this year, and say it comes in at 180,000 or 200,000 again, at least we can use some of the money in the unallocated fund reserve to offset some of that. And we're actually going to need it because the ARPA funds go into the general fund, the unallocated general fund. So when we start pulling that money out of there, we need to be able to know that we're all right. So if we pass this, then we can do those capital improvements. I don't foresee it's gonna raise the general fund tax for, I don't know what Mikey's highway fund is gonna be this year, but I don't foresee it raising any of that. It's just, it will allow us to transfer those monies. Did that explain it hopefully to everyone? Alright, so any more further discussion? And then roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Paxton?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes, so motion is carried. Alright, resolution 2267. A motion by, whereas the annual New York State Association of Magistrate Court Clerk Conference and Training will be held on 10/14/22 through 10/19/22 at the Crown Plaza in Albany, New York. Whereas Donna Hamill and Mary Sorrell, court clerks, would like to attend the training, be it therefore resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be charged to the general fund as provided for in the 2022 budget. Can I get a motion? Or in discussion, I should say this, the cost to the town, of the town registration is $75 plus mileage, meals, and hotel and accommodation. Okay, so just like when we went to New York City or any of those ones. They'll have to submit a voucher for their mileage, keep track of it. And we use state rate on their meals. And they'll get state rate on accommodation. Any other discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Alright, Mr. Newman? I'll second it. Alright, roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Paxton?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes, so motion's carried. Excuse me. Resolution is carried. Alright, resolution 22-68. A motion by, be it resolved that the town of Schuyler Falls, town board authorizes Kevin Randall, town supervisor, to act as certifying officer for the town's office for community service, community development block grant project TBD Housing Rehabilitation Program. So this is under discussion, this is a mandated, update. After we do these, we're doing them separate. We did them for the CDBGs in the past, after talking to Nancy at LaBerge, if we do, the generals without putting in, some of the, things on the other couple of resolutions we gotta pass tonight, we won't have to do this every time we apply for a CDBG again. But, so that we can get this one through, this is required, as part of the CDBG paperwork. Like I said, I knew that going in, they're paper intensive. So, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Parati,
Second.
Mr. Nguyen, roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yeah.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. There's gonna be a lot of them, it's all of CDBG stuff. Motion by, be it resolved that the Town of Scholar Falls Town Board determines the environmental review record to be classified a type 2 action, 6 NYCRR, section 617.4 and 617.5 for the town's Office of Community Development Block Grant. Project TBD Housing Replacement Program classification of type 2 action was determined based on review of, this is a website, https www.dec.newyork.gov/PERMIT permits /32521.htm1. Dot. I get a motion?
Motion.
By Mr. Parati,
Second.
by Mr. Bruno. Roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So carried. This is another one. Resolution 22-70. Motion by, be resolved that the Town of Scholar Falls Town Board authorizes Kevin Randall, Town Supervisor, to act as Section 3 Coordinator for the town's Office for Community Development Block Grant Project TBD Housing Rehabilitation Program.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Nguyen,
Second.
by Mr. Facto. Roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yeah, so carried. Alright, another one. Resolution 22-71. A motion by, be it resolved that the Town of Scholar Falls Town Board authorizes Kevin Randall, Town Supervisor, to sign the Section 3 plan adopted by the Scholar Falls Town Board for the town's Office of, for Community Development Block Grant Project TBD Housing Rehabilitation Program. Motion
Motion.
by Mr. Parati,
Second.
by Mr. Nguyen, roll call?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes, so carried. Alright, this is actually a budget transfer. Resolution 22-72. Motion be resolved that the town board of the town of Scholar Falls approves the following general fund budget transfers from A.1670.420 Central Printing Newsletters, $1,000, to A.6410.400 publicity contingency expenses for $1,000 to cover the cost of expense of the music in the park and the entertainment is what this is actually being moved for. So can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Bruno,
Second.
by Mr. Facto, go ahead and do a roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. Alright, resolution 22-73. This is, to fill the positions that we need to on the, ZBA board. Motion by, whereas Tom Carlson would like to step down to an alternate on the zoning board, and whereas Ryan Smith would like to serve as a member of the zoning board, it is therefore resolved that the town board appoints Tom Carlson as an alternate member of the zoning board, and the town board approves the appointment of Ryan Smith to fill the unexpired term of Mr. Tom Carlson, which will expire December 31st, 2025. Mr. Carlson has served for years and years on this committee. I want to thank him on the record for doing that. And it is only due to medical reasons of his wife and having to attend to her that he's moving down to alternate at this time. So that's all I got for discussion. Anybody else got anything? These names are picked by the board and brought to the ZBA board. I asked them to give us a couple of names of who they thought they'd like to put on there, because they got to work with them. And then we have to naturally finally approve them. So,
Motion?
motion by Mr. Newman
Second.
and Mr. Parati. Roll call?
Discussion, please.
No, I just asked if there was any
Well,
discussion.
it's just going in order, that's all.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is where I'm having trouble, and certainly not with Ryan at all. I know Ryan, and it's not a problem at all with him, for sure. We, in past practice, when there's been vacancies on these boards, we have advertised. We've left it open for people who want to apply. Then after we did that, we got together and we discussed it. Now, I realize, Kevin, as supervisor, you name the chairman. That's your, as town supervisor. But this town board has been selecting members that way. Now, in this case, and for example, Mr. Donut, hate to bring him up again, but he contacted me regarding it. Because back when Mr. Potiker was supervisor, in December of 2019, there was an opening and he wanted to put him on that. And it's just been past procedure to put these open positions. There's never very many of them. They come up, and that's been the practice in the past. And I think it's a good practice. And that's really all I have to say to it. I certainly am not against Ryan Smith anyway.
Okay, so let me ask you, because I'm totally befuddled as to what you're actually asking for now, okay? So, because you went around the circle here, is Mr. Dona asking to be on the
He asked 3
ZBA?
years ago to be on.
3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, because I went off of the old list that we had, and we did add another one, that had asked, and we've been discussing this for the last, matter of fact, this poor gentleman has asked me 15 times in here what he had to do, and I keep on telling him, and I have said that on the record in here, Mr. Dona, that please submit your names to the ZBA board, and then they will forward their names to us, and then, yes, the board has final determination, not just me, on whether we approve whatever name comes forward. So I wish you would have told me that, or submitted something, because you're not even on that list that I got in there.
The thing is, when you advertise, you can get a list of qualified candidates that you all can discuss and see who's best suited for the job. And that seems like a fair way to do it.
Well,
And it-
that's up to the,
Zoning board.
it's been my personal opinion that the ZBA board should bring the names to us, and then we look at them. If we got a problem with any of the names that come up here during our discussion, and you wanna table it, or if you don't want, this board doesn't get at least 3 out of the 5 to move the motion, the resolution forward, then we'll send it back to the ZBA board and say, hey, give us another couple names. But, yeah, I don't wanna be the one telling them who they're working with. I don't mind looking at the names and seeing if I have, personally, my own vote on this board, whether I think I have a conflict with them, or whether I think they're good for the board or not. But I think it should come from them, because they all have to work together. And that doesn't, go any further than that, that I think that it should be that committee giving the reference of who they would like to. And matter of fact, I wanna commend Mr. Carlson for going out and actually contacting these people and going to their houses and asking, before he even submitted these names to the ZBA board, to bring it to our board, and actually taking the time to discuss why they wanted to be on the ZBA board. He invited them to my understanding, the last ZBA board meeting, so they understood what they would be doing and the duties they would be asked to do, and to make sure I think he did a very thorough job of what he's did.
I can tell you with Mr. Carlton, as you know, I've been recording their sessions and stuff.
Mhm.
He's very good at what he does, very knowledgeable. He's gonna be a loss to that board.
I agree, 100%. That's what I said. So it wasn't any more than that. That I felt that they should submit those names rather than us just throw 2 people on their board. That they have to work with it, because we all have to work together.
Kevin, just 4 or 5 months ago, we were looking for people. to put
Yeah,
on the
we've
board.
been looking. I mean, I didn't put it in the paper. I have put it on here. I have talked to, several people. Like I said, we're kind of letting the cat out of the bag ahead of their time here, so it'll be the next resolution, but,
How many spots are there?
there was 1 vacancy due to death, and then with Mr. Carlson, because of family medical issues, stepping down to alternate, this will fill that board. And he really, I asked him to stay on where he was, actually, because he does a good job. I think he does. And I've been on the opposite end of his discussions, in front of the ZBA board. But I still think he does a good job. And I asked him to stay on and just use the alternates until, his medical, or his wife's medical issues.
So is there an ongoing list for people waiting to get on that board?
There was, and it started way back when Rick Potical was in there, and I can show that to you.
So can we add Mr. Donut to that list?
Sure.
I was gonna say, could I ask this way?
Yep.
Is that if we could have an agreement, the next vacancy on either the planning board or zoning board of appeals, he'd like to be on either one, that we could agree to appoint him.
We
We
can't
can't
do
do that
that
before the appointment is open. But what
they
you
have to
can do
vote
is
first.
give me a letter saying that
Right.
I will put it in, I'll show you the folder.
Ask him.
I got a folder in there for the ZBA board and the planning board, people that are interested, so that when we do have a vacancy, I can open that up, or whoever the supervisor is can open that up, and then contact those people to see if they're still interested. Okay?
Yeah.
Is there an age limit on that?
Oh,
Easy. He does not speak for the town. That last comment will be stricken from the record. So anyways, without further discussion, are you guys?
Is that okay with you?
Oh, sure.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank
he
you.
doesn't have a say on this board. You do, okay? So you gotta watch what you're saying up there.
Oh,
That will be
okay.
stricken from the record too. He doesn't get a
Strike
say.
it, all right, fine.
You can't do that stuff. All right,
And just to add to this, with names like volunteer, we can't even get we have 4 openings that we've advertised 3 different times, paid positions. We haven't got 1 person to
and the season's over,
That's
and
true.
one of
Very
them
true.
is a full-time, pretty much part-time, but it was Danny's position, who worked all year long. We tried to add a second position to help everybody, and we were trying to put 2 extras on so we get some of the sidewalks cleaned up and the hydrants painted and the guardrails cleaned up, and we can't get anybody to
To
work.
highway.
Nobody wants to work.
Nobody's submitted.
Yeah, when have you seen a highway position go unanswered for months?
I just can't believe it.
Nobody wants to work.
The,
I shouldn't say that either on the record. It's hard to find
There you
people
go.
to work.
Strike it.
Strike it. No, I said it. It is. It's unfortunate that a lot of people are not, just don't want to work. There's too much free money going out there right now.
especially the people in the town of Scholar Falls.
All right. Before I do get myself in trouble,
For
Reggie,
anybody else?
can we have a roll call vote on this thing?
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. See, every time Donor talks, he gets us in trouble. All right, resolution 2274. Motion by, whereas there is a vacancy on the zoning board of appeals due to a death of a member, be it resolved that the town board appoints Michael Eden, MD, excuse me, I apologize for messing up your name, MD, to the zoning board of appeals. I gotta figure out where I was now. I lost my whole chat. Appointment effective immediately to fill the unexpired term and to expire on December 31st of 2024. So, any further discussion? Actually, I need a motion. Let's start there.
Motion.
Mr. Facto,
Second?
by Mr. Newton. Any discussion? Did we kill this one enough? All right, roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So approved. All right, congratulations. No, you won't be thanking me after you go through a few of those meetings. Alright, but I appreciate your service to the town.
Can he
And I'm
go
sure
to the
there's one more.
training with me and?
No,
Like, he's a new member, he might as well go.
he could. Let's make sure the paperwork's all done and everything that we need to do. That won't be till October, so you should be good. Alright, resolution 22-75. Motion by resolved that the town board of the town of Scholar Falls authorizes the supervisor to sign the contract between the Teamsters Local 687 and the town of Scholar Falls. Be it resolved that the contract is valid January 1st, 2023 through December 31st of 2025. Any discussion, because I just gave you the rest of it. The only change is gonna be that top 2 pages where, they renegotiated, 2 separate articles in that contract. That's only changes from the first preliminary budget that I gave you. So this is a tentative. If we, vote on this tonight, it will become their new contract. Is there any discussion? If you wanna discuss anything about this, I would urge that we went into executive session because it is a contract. But if there's no issues with what you've seen in front of you, then I would ask for somebody to make a motion.
Motion.
Mr. Bruno,
I'll second.
and Mr. Nguyen. And is there any discussion? All right, let's do a roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yeah.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes, that was unanimously approved. So you can tell Mr. Amy, he's got his contract, and so don't the rest of them, including the 2 that you need to hire yet.
Yeah.
All right, maybe this will help out with your hire. You can show them what the new hiring rates are gonna be.
I sure will.
All right, Town of Scholar Falls Town Board regular meeting, resolution 2276. Motion by be it resolved that the Town of Scholar Falls enter into an agreement with CST Group Incorporated for computer support and training in the amount of a one-time onboarding cost of $990 and an approximate monthly cost of $570. Now, on this, let's start with a motion before we get to discussion. Anybody wanna make a motion?
I'll move it.
Mr. Newman,
Yep, second.
Mr. Parati. Okay, under discussion, I will say that Mr. Newton and myself spent about, 4 hours that day, last Friday? With everything that needs to be updated, some of the computer equipment is in need of an update. It's outdated. The reason that it's an approximate, 570 right now, because they don't, this girl comes in, this employee of theirs comes in and does that 900, it's a set fee. $990 to look at all the computers, see what software, hardware needs to be, and the rest of the upgrades. This is basically the only thing we can go off until they get their finalized list of what we need to do up and running. But it shouldn't be much more than that 570.
How long is this contract?
You were there too, Howard. You got anything missing?
It's pretty much right now, unfortunately, the town is wide open to get hacked
Right.
globally.
Is this the lady that was here?
Yes, that you all sat through. And one of the other issues that we don't have right now, and I will say that Carl has did a really very good job keeping up with what we had down here. Unfortunately, the new laws that were just passed put all the liability on the town supervisor and then the board. So we are supposed to have a book that says this is our domain, this is what this is what we're monitoring, this is who's monitoring it. I don't have any of that. They will create all that for us, they will do it, they will make sure we are in compliance with all state laws right off the bat.
In federal.
And federal laws, thank you. And right now, we are with a lot of it, but not with all of it. So one of the biggest things is that book.
Is there a time limitation, is the contract length?
Yes, 2 years, it's in there, Mike. If you look, I'm sorry, I should've told you, if you look at the next 2 back pages, that will explain what the contract is. Now this, it goes into, and it's a contract, so I don't wanna say everything out front, in case you don't go with this, at least they don't know what they were providing for services, and it won't screw up a bid if we had to put another one in.
How does this affect our webpage?
It's separate from the webpage, but it's integrated into the security, because they would have to make sure that the webpage is also secured. Basically, anything that gets plugged in down here to the internet is covered under this contract with them. And Mr. Garso would have to work with them to make sure that that website's protected down here.
And he knows this?
They will take care of that.
Yep.
We do not have to
Yep.
handle that.
Has there been any more discussion with him and our progress or lack of, or?
Yeah, we can probably leave that to a work session, but, yeah, I did, and, actually, I was impressed because I put that on there and Donna had just gotten back and within 35 minutes, it was up on the website. He does need to work on that taskbar, he was supposed to be doing that today. I'm probably not using the right terminology, but so that it worked on your phone, you know, that's why you could see the front page, but you couldn't go anywhere with it. You just brought it right back to the front page because there's a thing up top that he didn't realize wasn't on there.
But I had somebody come in my office today.
Yep.
Wanted to find a simple time of when the offices are open and who was here.
Yeah, it's not
And he
on there.
couldn't find it, it's not on there. And I do have to apologize, because someone mentioned about my minutes. Before I left, August 4th, he came in, he zip drived, whatever you call it, all my files, he's gonna put the minutes on the website.
Yep.
I apologize, they're not there. So, I'm not impressed.
I haven't.
So anyways, that's a topic for another discussion because like I said, this is on this.
Now this, not, I'm sorry, Howard. This CST group, are they local? They are still
They-
Malone, right?
Malone.
Malone,
Okay.
and they serve, I think some places, I don't wanna misspeak, but I think they're pretty much like Glen Falls down area. They are in a few towns, matter of fact, one of the towns they've been working with for over 20 years, and they still do their website. That's why Howard
So
and
if we
I
do
asked
have
about
problems,
that,
we
and
can
then
get
all of
to
a
them
sudden.
easy, is what I'm
Yes.
concerned about.
Matter of fact, if you look in there, and I don't wanna cover all of their thing in case you guys vote this down, that we don't have any issues with that, but you're more than welcome to take your time, read through that contract. Provides, this company provides quite a few things.
Yep.
And
Is it monitored daily?
and in a very short time frame.
Monitored daily?
Yes. And the other part too is if we have a technical problem, say with the phone system,
Yep.
we don't have to handle it. We get a hold of them, say our phone system is not working, they take care of it, so we're not the middle person.
Yeah, because she goes, that's what happens, and she's absolutely right, and I don't, everybody knows who uses the phone service down here, and I'd like to switch them myself, because I haven't been impressed with them.
No, our phone
But she
system's
goes,
not working.
it's their fault, or their fault doesn't happen, because it will be us working directly with them, and then telling you this is what we had to do to fix the problem.
Same thing with all our computers and everything else, we get a problem like this goes down,
They pretty much take over.
we tell them, this is done, down, they contact the company, we get this fixed.
I think,
And-
Sean was the other guy's name, I think he was
Yes.
here Friday. Lisa and Sean were here for over 4 hours, 4.5 hours. They didn't charge us. They went through everything. They're very knowledgeable, and I was thoroughly impressed. Of course, it don't take a lot to impress me with electronics, because I'm not real good with them, but she was, I mean, he went on the computer and just, it was amazing. Of course, I get amazed, because like I said, I'm not a tech guy, but. They definitely have good references. They definitely have been working for towns for over 20 years, and that was one of the things that she said, like your website, we will work with them to, you know, do what we need to do to protect that area also.
And the monthly fee also covers, if they came up, we thought we had like 7 or 8 computers, I think the total count came up to 12 or 13. Plus everything in the server room and all the other apparatus attached to it, Wi-Fi hookups and everything else.
Gas, hookups, all of it.
And-
She covered everything.
That includes the monitoring of it and just one fine alone for either not having this in place or having a hack doesn't compare at all to what the annual cost is to them to take care of it for us.
No, just the fines alone, much less if we lost $3 or $4 million out of a bank account down here. So, yeah. So they impressed the heck out of me. Hopefully they impressed you. That's why I had her speak, and that's
Now, we
why.
kinda mentioned something to her before when she was here. I mean, I hate to step on and use names, but Mr. Garso, we were talking, we were possibility of she knowing someone that
She
maybe
has-
can pick up the load that we're not getting done.
Right, she has references that we can utilize. She'd be willing to do. I don't want to put her on the spot or anybody else on the spot. I would- Go ahead.
One of the things I got from her is because of the investment that we have already, she would like to take the chance or the steps to work with Mr. Garso to get this up and running. And
Is
if
Mr.
not-
Garso willing to accept the help?
that will be between the discussion between this company
And
and
them.
Mr. Garso.
It takes us right out of it.
And she will come back to us and let us know, yes or no, whether,
And the good thing about it, Vern, is that he, you know, anybody can tell me pretty much anything they want about computers, and I'm gonna say, okay, yeah, that sounds good, okay, yeah. But those people aren't going to do that with her, because she knows it.
Okay, good.
So, if she's willing to work with him, and he's willing to work with her, but we can't do that until we hire them, and then it takes it right at them, then I'm not getting just one side of the equation, I'm getting two sides of the equation to make a real good decision back to the board with, and let you guys make a decision, but I was, like I said, I was impressed. They went through everything down there. So, if there's no other discussion, and we got a motion, and we got a second, let's do a roll call.
Mr. Newton,
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno,
Yes.
Mr. Facto,
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. They are approved, and I'll take care of that contract tomorrow. Alright, resolution 22-77. Motion by, whereas the town of Scholar Falls has received a $1.25 million grant from the New York State Office of Homes and Community Renewal, OCR, for a community development block grant pursuant to Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended for a water infrastructure project, and whereas the town is required to adopt a fair housing plan in order to uphold its commitment to affirmatively further fair housing and meet its federal obligation to engage in fair housing planning. Whereas the town is required to designate a fair housing officer who will be responsible for assisting individuals in securing the suitable housing accommodations of their choice and to eliminate impediments that lead to discrimination in housing. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Scholar Falls appoints the town supervisor, Kevin Randall, as the fair housing officer for the town of Scholar Falls. The consolidated plan for fair housing, a copy of which is attached here too, is adopted as the town of Scholar Falls fair housing plan. We're gonna need this also for the other one, they just haven't got to it yet. So, the only thing I was concerned with under discussion on this, was that it had my name on it, and, I would've liked it to just say supervisor, whoever the supervisor is at that time. But this can be, when I read the back, it can be modified at any time, so at that time, if we get a new supervisor, somebody else could be written in as that. So can I get a motion?
Motion?
And Mr. Newman?
Second.
Mr. Facto? Any further discussion? Alrighty, then roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati,
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall.
Yes. Approved. Stay tuned, because there's more. Alright. I didn't skip any, resolution 2278. Resolution authorizing the designation of a ADA coordinator and adoption of the Americans with Disabilities Act ADA grievance procedure. Motion by, whereas the federal government enacted the Americans with Disability Act of 1990 ADA to prevent discrimination of the physically and mentally disabled relating to employment and access to public facilities, and whereas in compliance with Title II of the ADA, the town of Scholar Falls shall name the ADA coordinator, and whereas in compliance with Title II of the ADA, the town of Scholar Falls shall adopt a grievance procedure for resolving complaints alleging violation of Title II of the ADA, and whereas in accordance with Title II of the ADA, the town of Scholar Falls shall publish notice in the public to the public regarding the ADA, and whereas in compliance with Title II of the ADA, the town of Scholar Falls shall post the ADA coordinator's name, office address, and telephone number along with the ADA notice and ADA grievance procedure on its website. Now therefore be it resolved, the town of Scholar Falls appoints the town supervisor, Kevin Randall, as ADA coordinator. The notice under the Americans with Disabilities Act, a copy of which is attached hereto is adopted as the town of Scholar Falls notice under the American with Disabilities Act. The town of Scholar Falls grievance procedure under the Americans with Disabilities Act, a copy of which is attached hereto is adopted as the grievance procedure for addressing complaints alleging discrimination on the basis of disability in the provisions of service, activities, programs, or benefits by the town of Scholar Falls. In compliance with federal and state laws set forth above, the town of Scholar Falls Town Board resolves to post the required information regarding the ADA coordinator notice under the Americans with Disabilities Act and the town of Scholar Falls grievance procedure under the Americans with Disabilities Act on its website, posted in the town hall and other locations as determined. Unless somebody else wants that job. Under discussion? No? Alright, so can I get a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Bruno,
Second.
and Mr. Facto, roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So carried. Holy smokes, we got through that. Okay. Let's do Alright, that's it for resolutions. Claims, general fund. Let me start up here first. Item only, 202201004 through 202201015. Claims, 2022016 through 202201089. Payroll claims, 202200971 through 202201003. Claims general fund, $17,498.47. Highway, $14,374.16. Audit only, $2,410.62. Fire district 0. Woods Mills Water, $482.90. Morrisville Water, $6,698.47. Mason Lane Water, $782.03. Ambulance 0, waiting 0. So,
Motion to pay the claims?
it's a motion by Mr. Newman,
Second.
by Mr. Bruno. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Newton?
Yes.
Mr. Parati?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So carried. Brings us to public addressees. Anything you know? Alright, next meeting, regular meeting will be 9/27/22, that's a Tuesday at 6 p.m. The public hearing, again, will be just prior to that, 9/27/22, that'll be a Tuesday at 5:45 p.m. And then work sessions as needed, or if needed, will be on 9/6/22, probably not, but we probably will have the, later one.
Yeah, but what, go into executive session for a few minutes?
Yes, and before we close the meeting,
Mine got cut off, what's the date of the second second
yeah,
work session?
it's gonna be, third Tuesday, right?
9/19.
9/19, yeah.
Got a Tuesday because it's Labor Day.
Oh, okay, that's why we changed it. Wasn't looking that
9/19.
far ahead.
9/19 and 9/6 is a Tuesday.
22. So, Mr.
9/6.
Parati just asked that we go into executive session for a personnel issue. Don't think we'll be long.
Second?
Second?
It's, we'll call it 7:55.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we will be back.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
Hope you get burned in there with your own thing.
What's that?
I hope you get burned in there with your own thing.
I'm good. I'm good, my done.
You too. Aye.
Anybody happen to know the wildlife Casper or Schuyler Falls guest?
Two or three, yeah.
You know, you probably come on the
It's not hooking up automatically for Wi-Fi here, and it's asking for Schuyler Falls guest password.
Contract with benefits, incentives. Down it's, there's no control. So they teach just yes. The thing is, the nurses was never, we never negotiated. You get one, more. More pages.
I've never heard of
more
any of the
articles.
openings because I don't get the newspaper. So I think the important thing is
See,
getting someone moving the technology to focus online more than
yeah, I most everything anymore. Tried it off and on looking for a job when I was, what's the big one, David? I'm gonna try Indeed, but it, most of them all was there.
Big deal is much bigger than what sucks.
Right, see the way, because they're learning salaries, and he said, you will get your bill, you never get a response. They could, Schuyler Falls people and all that. And we were looking for a job nowadays, it's very frustrating. Yes, I know that.
But, I can't see it's that far in the future where the state starts requiring to post things, not in the local newspaper, but on websites, because how many people put it in the newspaper? Is that some art paper? Right.
At least once a month, my wife don't get sharps.
Well, I'd be surprised if 10% of people still get a newspaper. So that's something that was enacted 70 years ago. Right. Well, 70 years ago, these people used to be the main source of
There's a certain amount of sick
communication. That's
time,
why
but,
it's
if somebody happens to.
legal requirement to post it in the newspaper, but that needs to be updated to both. And then newspapers will probably see that at some point.
Yeah, I just leave them right there. Thank you.
Why wouldn't you make it as public as possible?
$2,000 a year.
Compile a list of volunteers, their qualifications and stuff, and go on from there. And that's all I know about that.
But I don't understand is why we don't piggyback like some of the bigger towns' websites, like if somebody's done Mark's and Joel's website.
I'll make you copies of this handwritten because I'm not gonna on the computer. I'm gonna make copies.
That's fabulous.
Okay, I got this.
Okay, what
I'm
about,
like, reading.
can I see what you've got for us?
How are they doing now? Whatever, sure come to the meetings every month.
Certifications. I got the resolutions that Crystal told me to do.
Okay.
And I've got the certification for the notice of public hearing.
Okay,
And
then,
I've got things that Kevin has to sign, but I can't.
okay, anything you can give me is fabulous, and I picked up a copy of the planning, or
How'd you make
the
out with
public
your new
hearing
trailer?
ordinance.
Did you use out of it, you thought you
Making
would?
copies of all that.
That's great, and then,
get done otherwise.
Yeah.
He's gotta sign everything.
I know, I don't know whether I
I
should.
never seen copies of
Stay
the
right
agenda.
There was one thing I was looking at, now you can have these at home.
You know, the one
Oh,
thing I
gee.
got different though, is the brake control. The one I got is an old
That's,
one.
are you looking for this?
Yes.
Thing is, when mine's on, they got a
Oh,
screw
mine's
in
in
it,
bad shape.
and it can tip up like that. Put it right down there. Put that
Trying to put out the publicity for the, these are the things that we're on the signing, right?
Yeah, I read it. I had that.
Last week.
Now it's
Well,
ready.
they're gonna finish deep, now they're gonna go all theirs
Be
and
the way of
then.
anything we
I
can
got
sell.
an ashtray that truck on the
Same
road.
is.
I mean, a little rock.
No, thank you.
That and lighters.
Yeah,
The previous
oh,
owner probably smoked and ate extra food.
I bet they did.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
They
got a bunch of
I know.
beverage holders.
Yeah.
If you want an ashtray, they get a little plastic one that goes in where the beverage holder
Yeah,
is.
and once last time you ever threw the ashtray in it.
You know what? I said, well,
But the,
when we get to them.
all the newer trucks, I've been for quite a while now, have been coming with integrated brake systems in them and stuff, and
Well, you know, no, a lot of them, from what I was reading online,
It's all that salary.
it's all
you're not
built into
spending
the
on those
computer
guys.
that runs the truck.
yeah,
And
Hire the rest of them.
unless you pay for it, they don't put the control in. So it's in the computer brain, but you gotta pay extra for the.
you get a towing package.
It's fine with me. Oh, wait a minute, I don't get any money out of that.
Now, I did see that for certain makes, you can buy a generic one online.
I'm saving all this money since way before May this year. That's fine.
That one of mine, when it's empty, I gotta zip it all the way down to nothing. Or else it'll lock the brakes
Pile
up.
of money left in
Well, once you put a load on it.
Expensive out repair.
Yeah,
That works good.
should drag on the truck and try and
It's
stop.
like
Yeah, just a little bit.
shift it around. But,
Yeah.
no.
They got my, that big truck,
What's going on? They got going on.
a pile of brush up in the woods. I'm gonna haul out, I think I'm gonna put it on a big trailer, take it over to the dump. He said it's like $5 for a pickup truck, and they said that's probably 4 times the size of a
What's that
pickup
for a
truck.
brush?
Huh?
For brush.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know if they charged by the ton, same as everything else or not.
He said it was $5 a pickup truck load, but she said that's probably 4 times the size of a pickup truck, so $20. My brother wants to run it up to Moore's and bury it up to camp, you know, it's like that's less than $20 to go to the dump and back.
How big is the stuff?
The truck,
I ain't know the stuff going on.
it's chippable,
See, I got a little chipper, I love it.
yeah,
We had a bunch of stuff leaning over the property line. So, cut it down there, jam it in. Next thing you know, you got a pile about this big, or otherwise.
now is that the
it would have
Harbor
been a couple-
Freight one?
What's that?
Is that the Harbor Freight one?
No, I got it
Yeah,
online.
these are the originals.
Landworks
Okay,
is the
thank you
brand.
very much.
It was like 5 something. And no real brand name to it, of course, it's got one of the motors. It looks like a Honda, but it's actually a Chinese
Yeah,
clone. First I had, wow, this thing is built, a couple of houses, heavy duty steel, real, runs really good.
I got one of those ones at
It's like 5
Harbor
something.
Freight, and, I did it, was doing a lot of shipping with it, but not big stuff. And it ended up, it broke the crankshaft on the,
On the motor.
between the motor and the
Oh,
chipper.
the big,
Yeah, it broke it. Luckily, I've got a friend that knows how to fix that stuff, he took it to the shop and did it.
mine's a set.
I don't have Facebook.
It does good.
So they go by CC now.
Yeah, I know, in small parentheses, it said
Worldwide.
But
You know,
it
it's
says,
bad enough, I get cut down.
well, you know, of course, you can run it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was 3
Oh,
inch.
yeah.
3 inch kind of shows.
Perfectly straight, and
I wanna just put her desk
Oh,
back.
go get it.
3 inch kind of shows 6 inches. But 2.5.
They didn't
And
cut
I
it this
talk
way,
about
they
stuff
cut
that
it.
crooks. It starts like, I think, an 8
She comes in, yeah, I'll come back
branches.
tomorrow morning before she gets there.
Such a great.
If anybody takes any of these.
yeah.
Let me just.
My other cruise.
Do you want any? You want one of these? Anything about the battle phosphorus? We got stuff outside anyway, right?
Yeah, this is, I'm gonna put this back outside.
Dirt and whatever got in there.
Excuse me, gentlemen, youngsters.
Youngsters.
So for $40.
Want to write about this? Do you want one of these?
I know where it
I
is.
have one of those.
Okay, you want to
Probably not
have
big
an
around.
eye test? This is what's going on in the battle
Stainless
phosphorus.
steel.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that should start forward.
Oh,
Yeah. I have to get my extra glasses out for that. I
Oh, yeah.
got the pair of lights up and,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's like, microscope.
Huh. Thank you.
You're welcome. I haven't forgotten. I kinda lost it last weekend.
Yeah.
Are you in tomorrow?
Twice as much pressure.
Are you working tomorrow?
It went through that son of a gun.
Are you not working? Are you ever not working? So,
That's the thing.
Yes, I'm working
I let
tomorrow.
go of it, it was shoot
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, Dave. Backwards.
do you,
I'm
would
glad
you
you
like
came
to
home.
go on Friday?
So I'm glad you came over.
I got my stand now.
I'm ready to get a dead end.
Okay, cause I put them,
On our dead end street.
No, it's not too
I
hard.
tried to put them so that you
You
would
you
know,
and me have a better time.
every
I took care of all those rods and some top
Massive.
Would you like
Yeah,
to
it's not right in my neighborhood.
Saturday? I also need the reminder, because we've got one more
I
on.
think, I mean, this,
Jake Battle
Well, there's no way out, so they go down one
That's
end,
up,
they
it's
go
just
down
up
the
the
other.
internet. Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a lot going
put a
on.
turnaround sign near the
Just
wire.
a reminder,
Yeah.
and then this is the, that's on Saturday.
No outlet, dead end, something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just,
That way they'll get that.
okay.
yeah, it's been on the,
So-
They'll get mad at
on
me.
town Facebook.
No, they get mad at me because
But
I
I'm
got
not
cells if you like try to turn around and you go out and there's that's in their front yard, which I understand that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, and I would have to make copies, right?
No, just give me a call.
23rd of September.
Actually,
Last
Reminder,
one, yeah.
I mean,
So maybe,
That last, we got a partial load back.
Yeah,
you notice I don't have it on me.
Partial load stolen on that last one.
Hi, Mike, Andy.
My car ain't
How am I
gonna
gonna
be
get
able
it
to.
to you?
I was out in the place when we did that pickup thing. You know, I was driving the truck.
Yeah, that's right.
Girls were in ours.
I was gonna say,
The wife's still spit.
There's so much.
there's so much.
or I can come to you.
Whatever, whatever it is.
It's one of them deals, when you look
You know,
at
if
the
I
cars, I'd say,
Here
buy
at
the
my
best one.
10 o'clock.
You know what, maybe that'd be better,
And now
because it's like,
this
if he
is the
doesn't
reason
get to
why.
me by then, and he's got
Right.
something else going on.
Did you
So
guys
he's
share
saying
that
something
after
going on
the
on
meeting?
Wednesday.
That's the hinge.
But I never know when, you know, who's
So
coming
every
in
time
and
you
out,
look
so
it
if
up,
for some reason I can't get to him, then you
So-
come and you sign him.
Alright, well, that's
Okay.
good to know. So I'll come between 9:30 and 10.
Why don't you come closer?
Close to 10 to give you a little bit
Yeah,
of
because I gotta
breathe.
get, I've got all this stuff going on here.
Alright, well, that's what I'll do.
Okay.
I'll show up and then I'll take my papers and go home.
All right, and I can make copies if he signs it,
Yeah.
so he's got a
Yeah.
copy.
Okay, and if you just would mention that I'll be showing up in the morning to get
Yeah.
copies.
And I think he'll probably, he usually comes in by 9:30 or so,
Okay,
so.
good, because
All
we're
over
trying,
done with it.
our deadline is Friday.
Yes.
And we love to be
So I had to do both sides.
because when you're doing them online,
It's-
everybody and their
Yeah,
brother.
that's fine, so if you, like I said, if I can't get to him, you come in and I can say, excuse me, Kevin, we need to sign these.
Good,
And I will try to get to him so I can get everything done and copies for you.
Okay.
So you come in, you could just,
No, I'm still.
either way, but I'll be here.
Thank you very
Yeah, you're
much.
very welcome.
Mostly.
Did you hear them say there was some kind of training for this board?
I don't know that.
I just heard them say training, I didn't know.
From what I understand, that somebody said something about October, but I don't know
Right
that.
behind the house, 'cause
So it
you stand at
doesn't-
the house,
You don't want it this high looking yellow and then finally laying down there to serve it.
16 by 24.
You need to get a house, you need to get
The
one
taillights
that's built
that
like
came
a
on
lawnmower
this
with
thing.
just the head on it, spins it like.
They're square, a lot of people describe them as
Could.
kind of looking like,
But then you got a flag. and
they came off
Oh,
an
yeah.
old camper.
Yeah.
So I showed the wife this, somebody,
First we got that
somebody got rid of that and they put on
that
these
gear that
round custom
you
ones.
start up.
Oh, she says, that looks on,
Oh, yeah.
I want one like that. So I had to take the taillights
I
off.
don't know what they call that.
But I was still, well.
I know one thing, you need to come to my office sometime to get taken off of office.
And I had a skim of Bondo.
Fridays were closed.
What's that?
Fridays were closed.
No, these
So just stop at any time or wait till Friday first?
When do you think you'll be coming?
For the most part, we're better off just
Yeah.
to
Do it this week.
keep weed whacking.
Okay, Thursday, I'm in the,
Cause I mean, it's that wide.
tomorrow I'll
There's
be
only that
in,
to offer.
Thursday I'm here till 2, then I go to the
I could see
courtroom.
her tooting around in that.
That's what I've been trying to
Oh,
do
yeah.
too. like,
Well, she had one when they were kids,
My shoulders.
and,
Whatever,
she was
whatever
like
it is,
18.
widened out.
Hey, what happened to her, hand improvement,
So,
something like
for the future, but
when we,
Huh?
that'll probably never result.
So I get everything done, so I get.
yeah, there's
day.
some broad at the
I
front
get a look
of
at
the parking lot saying she's
You guys
homeless,
cut back.
and she got her
So
sign,
you
you know,
come to
gimme,
the end of the
gimme,
railroad,
gimme.
and I'm
Well,
staring
the
at the
wave
road.
comes pulling up.
Yep.
They're playing
Just to
fake
the west
violin.
of
Huh?
Just
They're
the-
playing a fake violin, they have a
Cut out.
recording,
Now
and
it's
they just
in.
like strumming the violin, and
Shit.
it's a
And
nationwide
it's
scam.
years you take the pilot.
Well, she comes pulling up, cause there's a stop
Amazing.
sign, she's gonna turn.
You
No,
know, some,
customer starts
some
opening the door,
little
she says,
stuff.
thank God when you put
But
it
the
in
majority
your
of it is
house.
just spread and spread and spread.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
spread.
Wonder what the hell
Oh, yeah.
trying to get in
But
the
that's,
car
it's
for, right?
crazy.
Yeah.
Because you took,
But,
what was this much
like,
roadside, now
the
it's
one that used to
that
hang
much
out
roadside.
over
It's all of that.
Cut it down like
He
Yeah.
took his sign up and
Yeah.
behind the,
So what do you got,
built
what do you got, Shorty?
the company sign. He'd go over and have his lunch at, Wendy's,
Center
come back
active.
out, put the sign up again.
Yeah.
Then somebody else would show
Timmy
up in
has
the
a
car.
barterness.
Somebody felt in this,
No.
the girl that he was riding with, she
You
was
know,
being handled somewhere
Timmy's,
else.
Yeah.
he's good, he understands.
It's a
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
when
know
I found out
exactly about
before he
doing
joined
it.
the police department, he was working over OTV. And he said there was this guy by the front of
Nothing I can
Walmart.
do, and I.
He said,
I'm
oh,
not
you're
gonna argue
panhandling
with
all
him.
day long.
I'm
He
not-
said, then
I'm
he
not
go over and
Well,
play the ball.
it's not worth getting a piss about.
No, it isn't.
Hey, who's the other guy, not,
I'll tell you,
not
you
Carl,
can't
but
feel
the
sorry
second
for
guy who
people.
does the
Well,
lining and.
Walmart's down there eighteen
What's
dollars
his
an
name? I
hour.
can't remember his name.
Now,
It's a hell of a lot
Alan.
less work than
Cause
we're
Alan
out
came
there.
out to the parking lot with
And
me
they
one
can't
day
get
out
him
San
through
Bernardino.
that.
Yes,
And
yes.
mark it out, and then I went on vacation, I told him, I said,
about that.
I'm leaving first of
That
August,
mechanic up
you know,
there?
Yep.
we get a day in there to
Mechanic
train.
up there, diesel
But
mechanic,
Now I'm back,
all
and
around you, what can
he
do it
hasn't
all.
called me, so I
You're
don't
paying
know.
him $21, $22
Yeah.
an hour. You're not
He
gonna
did
hang on
mention
to
something
him
there.
very long.
That used to be good
I'm gonna
money.
make a whole freaking garbage.
Not today, it's not though.
I can remember.
If I back the trailer
When I
up
was
one
at
day
the
and I'll
sheriff's
use
department as a
use the
deputy.
tractor and the
Man, if
forks,
I could
you
get
gotta
$5
put a
an hour.
bunch of shit on there.
Yeah, you see, you shouldn't be doing that by yourself.
You know, the thing is, you know, they're,
It's gotta get done.
you go over to Burger King, they're hiring for $15.75 an hour. For $6 an hour, you're gonna bust your ass.
I got the book, so I figure we might as well do it while we have time.
Sure.
I got the little so
Yeah.
That was good thinking, thanks.
Yeah, well,
Saved me the trip.
it's gonna be a while.
Makes you not wanna work.
And
I feel like this every day.
they
when I
paid,
drive.
they paid garbage
You know,
wages.
instead of being
So
38 years old,
I
you know,
found the only
36 years
job
old.
that paid
You know, those
relatively
guys are working
decent,
when I was near
this is
the.
back before the
How come
pandemic.
the American flag's lower than
They
the
paid
county flag?
$17 starting.
Thank you
pay.
very much.
He seems happy.
The American flag's supposed to be higher.
For the water district.
He's not.
And
He's very,
if they
big,
hired
big
you within
difference.
so many
Big,
months,
big
you had to pass
He used to be kind of,
this,
oh yeah.
health
I mean,
department.
and as much as I like Pete,
You're
get along with
responsible for
you know,
going
there were
around
days where he's kind of
monitoring
sour.
all the
Yes.
water
Oh,
sources,
yeah.
doing,
Many
tests to
years.
make sure that it was.
Many
it was
years.
our responsibility.
He's come a long way
For
in
$17
the last 2 years.
to do that.
Just
Say,
for the
you know,
relaxation.
For $3 an hour less, I could go with these
Jason
people water
Rock
work
worked
at
for my
Walmart,
daddy.
having
Yeah,
all this
that's
responsibility.
That was the
Make
biggest,
it
that was the
9:30.
biggest problem right there.
That's why they got that friggin' law in the book, in their
Yeah.
thing, you know.
Want to go to camp tomorrow, you want to.
Okay, this is official. Raise your
I
right
think
hand.
Danny's, I think Danny's.
I, Mike
coming back. He
Lundy.
wants to be.
I, Mike Lundy.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution
Come on,
of the United States
and the
Come on.
Constitution of the State of New York,
Come on.
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully
I
discharge the
wouldn't believe it.
duties of zoning board of appeals
I've talked to him, I think,
and will faithfully
Yeah.
discharge
twice for a
the
couple minutes, you know.
duties
duties of zoning
kids are
board
very
of
off.
appeal member.
according to the best of my ability.
According to the best.
Probably be ready to take the boat out of the water there, soon his wife's going back, school's gonna be started.
This has got to be done before the, a meeting
I don't know what he's gonna do with
before
it.
your next, you know,
If she goes back to school, he doesn't have anything to do.
so you can serve.
Call me.
Okay,
He'll have to create something.
Wow.
I'll say, hey, I got some jobs for you.
Wow.
Come on, you can go through the Kubota for me and ride it a little while, and just make sure it's
They said,
all
did you
good.
give Kelsey your,
I ride
your
about 10 hours a
information with
day
your
every
address
other
and all that?
Wait in.
Uh, At some point, probably, but I don't know.
See, he was in the position, he was in a position where he
Kelsey's is
resigned.
the
I mean, I
secretary
can
of
still
the
resign,
zoning board.
No, I haven't.
but,
Great.
his town needs a lot of work. And you know, even, the same, you can't,
I didn't read.
First was, email and.
They
just
just
something like that.
Because.
Okay, so I could, and your address,
So.
Yeah, 14.
because that goes into the book.
Guys.
14.
they don't understand.
This is just like the
Yeah,
same
I'll
thing.
do it.
You're gonna give me money.
You want me to write it all out
And
for
a
you?
little order with the quick connect.
You have to be able to write
So
it
it can
on
change.
there, right?
You look at- you-
Yeah, no, I'm saying you write it.
Oh, no, no,
On paper?
yeah, let me find a piece of paper here. Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, you email because she'll send you things.
I
Here, you can put-
actually have been wanting to try to figure it out for the last couple of years, you know, but I've been helping some guys. You know, and I do so much of it, and then I get freaking bored out, and I go home, and it's like, leave me alone,
Bought a house
you know what I mean? Then I go into tomorrow
19
morning,
months ago,
and I wanna work with the guys again,
basically.
you know, to make it safer.
So she's running around.
And
So what are you working at?
I want to fly, that's all hard,
It's based on your
drive
base salary,
and haul.
not how much you're making. A lot of people don't go on your trucks now, they're on your base salary. Almost every
Right.
all of those guys.
Good, that's
I
what,
Well,
I
unless
did
you're.
call Alice one day, and she said, no, he's at work, and I said, oh, okay, he's got the truck somewhere then.
yeah, we probably took it, the last few times we took it,
Changed
we
the
took
paperwork
over.
and they post-dated.
Cause
You know,
we
so
used them
stuff-
for flag.
He had put in for.
Just said we should be getting a zoning board book, did they give you one?
Dump truck.
They gave
Oh,
me
maybe.
something.
Zoning board law?
Yeah, it was the one that out.
Give a guy
Yeah.
submitting job.
Alright.
You know, too bad, it's a flag.
I heard they pretty much put an end to that. They said no more of it. Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know,
We need to
it's
come
just,
go work Monday for 4 or 5
we
days.
need more.
And you can get, anywhere from 10 to 25% more than that job.
Well, that's.
Yeah, I have, but then he changed his mind overnight.
Raymond.
You know, the guy changed his mind overnight, he's staying where he is.
Here,
But even at that,
they did a thing.
this guy that's making,
Because he worked
that's the only thing
back in such and such.
Well, if you can pull the plug on that if you want, self-charge stuff.
But I'm willing to,
Because he was part-time.
Yeah.
And he wasn't given the opportunity.
yeah.
To join the retirement.
It's not enough, he's making more
Take
money.
his jail time and revert from.
Somebody
I want in on that because I taught swimming for the county back in 73 and they did.
Everything else he's been.
That window's closed.
Yeah.
That window was only open and cracked for
Yeah,
certain people.
yeah.
What it was.
Yeah, sure was.
You know, the only other one I know that got through it was, Junior.
Fremore.
Fremore.
Yes, I remember he got.
Yeah,
And that was on
and it took him years to do it.
program.
Yeah.
From the start. But at least he.
Yeah, I remember.
You know.
Yeah, he got back all his contributions.
We kind of grew up near him.
He won't come back, he won't finish his application.
He knew that his brother lost his wife.
His wife.
Jack lost his wife.
You know, see,
It was bad.
I'm telling you right now.
Dennis had lost her job up there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
two DWIs,
To get his
and that was just about the time
Say like September.
local
This year.
lawyer,
It was open something on the wire here.
I think it was
He
Hope,
didn't have horses, but
had
yeah.
gotten a DWI. It was his second, and he dropped it to misdemeanor. I said, wait a minute, 2 10 years, that's a
I got
felony.
2 trucks running
Oh,
now.
she says, but because of his employment, if he was found guilty of a felony, he'd lose his
I got
job,
one
not
out
be
there
like
right now,
punishing twice.
right now.
Dennis was down there, says, hey, what about me? I'm losing my job.
Allegiance.
That's different, slam the doors.
Yeah. I got them in house.
Once again, this is
Members of the
connected.
program. You know, we,
Pretty expensive.
no.
Yeah.
And, Jack Preacher was one of the
Around with this.
nicest person you can find. can't keep track. Pretty can be smart as a cost, it's a cost. And
Yeah.
she came down with, wow, it's the nerve thing, you usually can.
I never thought.
Yeah, I think that's
Never
what
thought it'd be like
but
this.
you always
I
think.
never thought it'd be like this, you know?
Whoever would have, it's just the nerves.
That's an awful.
Okay, ma'am, you can put it back on the record.
Motion to re-adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Readjourn.
All right.
We adjourned to
I don't know. All in favor?
Aye.
All of you are present, nobody snuck out?
Nope.
no.
Okay, 8:22.
All right, so personnel issue, we discussed a few, job duties, basically, and maybe some, changes to the job duties. We're gonna continue to look into that, and further that discussion. We do not have a timeline when we will get it done by, but as soon as we decide, we will come back in here on the record and make a determination and a decision. And put it on the record. So no decision was made.
So that's all you want me to put?
Yeah. But I just want everybody to understand.
Motion to adjourn? That's my pen.
I know, I just gotta put down what time it was, 8 what?
8:22 you came back in,
Yes.
7:55 you went out.
Yeah, I got that too. And that was
I'll be talking
that.
to you.
Got my couple of these.
I made the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That was Howard and
Burn.
I've got my pen in there.
Keep that pen for a minute.
They're taking it back.
I think I locked the door, I picked everything up, it was all done, right? You got everything
adjourn.
shut off?
Yeah, we're good, everybody's good.
All right.
Thanks everybody for showing up.
You got that shut off?
I will do that.
Next, all right.